industry do not believe that we have the right expertise or the right people. We prove them wrong.
There is a stereotype about the quality of research that comes out of Qatar.
There is a little bit of stereotype. We've been working consistently actually to correct that vision. QRDI has been playing also a very, very significant role in this aspect. Many girls, they do not choose this path, not because of barriers, but because of stereotype. My area of expertise is computational materials science, so I do simulations for materials in the computer instead of labs to look at their properties and to predict new materials.
In today's episode for Meet the Expert, hosted by QRDI Council, we're proud to welcome Dr. Fadwa El-Mellouhi, Associate Professor at HBKU at College of Science and Engineering. Dr. Fadwa, thank you so much for joining us. We're happy to host you today. Can we start off by talking a bit about your role, what it is you do, and your field of expertise?
Yes, thank you very much for hosting me today. So I am Associate Professor of Physics. I teach physics at the College of Science and Engineering. My area of expertise is computational materials science. So I do simulations for materials in the computer instead of labs to look at their properties and to predict new materials. I'm also a CEO and founder of a startup called INCA Informatics that is now incubated in Qatar Science and Technology Park.
So tell us a bit about throughout your career, how you've navigated the STEM field for other women viewers out there. What were some of the barriers, to enter the physics world and become a scientist?
Yeah, thank you very much. This is a very important point. Actually, it stands out as science, technology, and mathematics, and is a field that is often let's say scary for women, for ladies, right? So many girls, they do not choose this path. Because of not because of barriers, but because of stereotypes, I would say. Okay, they would prefer to go to chemistry, to biology, to maybe medicine, and so on, because they haven't seen success stories. Okay, there wasn't enough success stories. Mm-hmm. But for me, the person that inspired me was Marie Curie. So she won Nobel Prize twice, one in chemistry, one in physics. And since I was a kid, I wanted to become a physicist, and nothing could stop me. Despite difficulties, despite challenges, of course.
So, Dr. Fadwa, you're from Algeria, I believe.
Yes.
So, as a scientist from Algeria, what was your global journey and how did you end up in Qatar?
Okay. So, I did my physics bachelor and master's degree in Algeria. And I want to emphasize that it was my university was one of the first in the region that specialized in computational materials science. So this is where everything started and the passion have started. After that, I went to Italy at the International Center of Theoretical Physics, the Abdus Salam International Center of Theoretical Physics, where I got awarded a scholarship from the UNESCO to pursue my diploma. And then once in Italy, it was a dilemma whether to return back to Algeria or to go and pursue the PhD. Then I got two offers, one in Germany, one in Montreal, Canada. I went to Montreal, Canada for my PhD studies, and I stayed there for 9 years. And I became a citizen. I founded my family there, and so on. And then the call of Qatar came, and then we immigrated actually back here to Qatar. So from extreme cold to extreme heat.
So, Dr. Fadwa, you wear many hats, and you mentioned you're a startup owner. So how did that, what challenge were you trying to solve, and what is the startup about?
Okay, so the startup name is INCA Informatics. So it's a startup in the field of materials informatics, which means that we are using data science, computational materials science to solve real-world problems. And our aim is really to work with the manufacturing to shorten the time of trials and error to achieve the targets. When I talk about manufacturers, it's we are addressing the plastics industry, the oil and gas industry, to help them actually to cut on the trials and errors. What derived us actually to fund the startup is really, I've I've been like 100% researcher for several years, for more than a decade here in Qatar. And this we had these outcomes that consisted of IP, intellectual property, copyrights, like very unique solutions that needed commercialization. So we decided that we will do the commercialization ourselves with the support of the HBKU Office of Innovation. So we, during Web Summit Doha, so we had this opportunity. The incentives were there. This, you know, the support from the fund of funds was just like announced. So everything actually was in favor of like trying to commercialize ourselves and to have this startup.
You mentioned that it all started with the research.
Yes.
Was that also conducted in Doha?
Yes.
And how did that?
Yes, all the research was conducted with Doha. Most of it was supported by QRDI funding through either their national priority program or also JESRA program that is for the undergraduate students and so on. And then we were really very pleased to collaborate with entities everywhere in the world, in like top universities in the world, and come up with solutions that revolutionize these areas like the clean energy, solar cells, batteries, and so on.
So that's supporting the manufacturing industry, would you say?
Yes.
That's the application.
Our target customers in Qatar are R&D centers, mainly in the manufacturing sector. So here we are targeting the oil and gas sector. So where we target to support research and development centers to accelerate the discovery of materials and of their processes, in addition to small and medium enterprises. So I've discovered through QDB Factory 1 that underneath there is like large number of small factories that we in Qatar actually rely on for our daily, for example, supply of bottled water bottles, and so on and so forth. And we would like really to work with them to help them to digitalize, not only, their operations, but and even in their manufacturing and also their R&D for looking for new formulations and so on. Because the stereotype that we have here in Qatar is that we have branches from other companies, and then most of the technology is imported from abroad and so on. So this is partially true, but we need to have also some, sustained development within Qatar in terms of these small manufacturing companies, who are really supporting us on a daily life for paper, for plastic, for petrochemicals, and so on and so forth. We need actually to help them to become more competitive, to expand even their exports. Why not? In the future, by excelling and then by accelerating the process of innovation within that.
Do you think, if we look at this point more broadly, in manufacturing and other sectors, is there still big room of technology development transfer of technology?
There will be always a room. And then I need to emphasize on something. Today, more than ever, we're becoming more aware about the availability of critical minerals, about the import, the export, right? So there are some restrictions and taxes and so on that are really hindering some of the trade internationally. And then there are disruptions that are happening in the supply chain as well. So some small factories cannot survive that. It's very, very hard for them. If we have just for example, a war, or we have some regulations that are taxes or anything, supply chain is disturbed, and then this is a very high risk for small companies and even for big companies. So what we try to do is to help them to see how they can actually adopt very quickly alternative materials that are maybe available locally, and quickly start their manufacturing without wasting time, without wasting a lot of effort, and also generating a lot of waste. So, in my opinion, it's really timely. So that we're coming at this very important era where we have this supply chain disruption that we need actually to help companies to overcome.
That sounds like a very resilient cycle in times of challenge.
True.
Do you feel like there is more R&D activities that need to happen at manufacturing level or other sectors? in
I would
advance?
say, yeah, I mean, I would encourage that, okay, but it really depends. R&D cannot be afforded by all companies. I mean, let's be frank about it, right? Some of them, as I told you, they rely on formulation that are coming from their headquarters, like the R&D center in their headquarters. So this is why we are very open. We are a software as a service company, right? So we can work with companies across the globe. We have no problem. So if we have, for example, a company here that has a branch here, we are very open to work with the R&D division, in the home country or in the headquarters, and then with an impact, of course, on the local company.
Do you still think there is a stereotype about the quality of research that comes out of Qatar? And how do you feel we're positioned in reality on ground when it comes to other institutions worldwide?
I mean, you can measure that from the quality of publications. Okay, so I think that we struggle a little bit more than other, people in other countries in publishing. But if you look at what we have been able to achieve, so we have, our community has published in JACS, in very, very high impact factor journals. So I would say that yes, it is still there is a little bit of stereotype, but we are been working and consistently actually to correct that this vision. The thing is that we are working at different levels, so not only at the pure research, but also in the training of the young population or the young population from primary school to middle school to high school, so engaging them in research. And QRDI has been playing also a very, very significant role, in this aspect as well.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like talent is growing in this field? And is there enough focus on talent, let's say, even beyond Qatar and the MENA region in your field?
Yes, in the field of material science, we have strong universities, we have strong centers, and so on. The computational material science still is like young and nascent here, so we have very, very few names in the region that do this kind of work. But we are trying, and we hope that with the new university undergraduate program in HBKU as well, we would be able to offer also a computational material science to have like these students. Interested, but meanwhile we are involving them in research at early stages, so in such a way when they go to work for companies, they know actually what is the power and the usefulness of this computational material science as well.
Amazing. So we always try to encourage research and development in the ecosystem. How do you feel that it's being done today? And what is the growth areas for research development to really become? Is it just the universities, or is it industry that plays a role? Is it government that plays a role in adopting it?
Yes. I think that this comes through the collaboration between different parties. Universities, of course, is the bed, right, where innovation is happening. And this is where human capital is. This is where expertise is. But industry, I mean, by adopting the innovation that is emerging from locally, right, from the local entities, government through the support and so on. I mean, play a very significant role. And I wanted also to highlight, so one of the newest programs of QRDI, so we got awarded one of them. It was like the first cycle, and it was about academia industry collaboration. So it was all about helping industries to dive into the expertise within academia to push their of course, innovation and also competitiveness in the local market. Okay, so we are starting this project, and I mean, I can tell you again that so the main challenge, I mean, the industry sometimes they do not believe that we do have the right expertise or the right people, but we prove them wrong. Okay, and then I mean, we are inshallah we will be doing well.
That's amazing, Doctora. As a startup owner, if we go back to the entrepreneur hat, how challenging is it to really represent, to commercialize a deep tech through a startup? How has that journey been?
Okay, so let me list few challenges. Okay, so deep tech in Qatar, okay, where, as you said, so we're always questioned for the quality of what we do and things like that, okay, and owned by a woman, okay, and a single founder as well. So multiple challenges, okay, but I mean, this is what people see, but I mean, in the background, so we have a very, very good and strong advisory board, okay, so from world-renowned scientists and also entrepreneurs from around the world that support us, okay. So even though it looks fragile but then I mean we understood that we needed actually to solidify it, to make it stronger, and so on and so forth. So there are several challenges in terms of getting access to funding, especially for the pre-seed and seed stage. So the very early stages, this is where it's very well known that this is the valley of death of many of the startups that cannot survive this period. But I have to emphasize that have been very well supported. So INSA Informatics has been very well supported by the Office of Innovation in HBKU. So we have received 2 awards so far. The last one is called IBDA. Okay, and we are looking forward as well to what QRDI actually will be offering for small and medium enterprises, because this is the only program that supports early stage startups, and we really, would like to see if we can get that support to be able to move to the next stage.
So deep tech, I'm sure there are other startups listening to us. What advice would you give other startups in the deep tech field to really take advantage of the work that they're doing and really try to commercialize it?
Yes. So I would say go and reach outside, okay? Validate your idea outside. For example, in my case, so I went to University of Toronto Creative Destruction Lab, so where we have been mentored, and then we received mentorship and the opinion of world class experts. So I would say go get that validation. Okay, it's very, very important. Then come back and try to see now whether your early adopters are in Doha. If not, go and also look for your early adopters elsewhere. Okay, find people to work with who are committed, who believe in your technology. You need 1 or 2. You don't need 30. Okay, because you need to make a success story. Okay, and this is how it starts. So it's, and I would say we always struggle with this egg and chicken dilemma, right? So we, everyone, will tell you, oh, did someone buy from you? Is someone else using it, and so on? So try to break that, okay? And this is the hardest part to do. Okay, especially in this era of a lot of buzz and this bubble of AI that we are living in these days. So many companies are are claiming or making, or marketing for AI solutions, but AI. Gen AI is different from the machine learning methods that we use and in deep tech. Okay, so we need to really work out these stereotypes and these opinions as well.
Mm-hmm. So how is AI in that field? You brought me to my next question. Is AI all that it seems to be, or are there other emerging technologies to look out for?
Of course. So there is AI. We have seen in the past few years the emergence of Gen AI, but artificial intelligence itself, we have always been using statistical modeling and so on. So it has affected our field of materials science very significantly. What I see coming as well is the next technology is going to be quantum computing. Of course, it will take us decades to build, to secure the materials and so on, and to build the next generation quantum computers. But what I see is really important and then coming is the use of hybrid computing in such a way that only problems that we cannot treat with quantum computing are computed using quantum computer, and the remaining are computed using classical computer. There is a challenge. It's not easy. We need the people qualified to run such a simulations. Okay, it's not like skill set that we in which that we are offering in the undergraduate, for example, studies here. Okay, it's more of the graduate studies, but I think that Qatar is very well positioned as well. To become a pioneer. So under HBKU there is the Center of Quantum Computing, and we have heard also about Qatar's investment in quantum computing. So we are looking forward to it.
Do you think some of these outcomes are all on the close horizon when it comes to use cases for some of AI or some of the other emerging technologies? Are you looking through your startups or other projects at real life use cases for these? And what would they be, for example, in an industry environment?
Yeah, that's very excellent. That's very good question. So this is what so I told you that we want to break this cycle, right? And we are looking for proof of concept. So we are working with a company in Sweden, for example, the connection has been, by the way, established through QRDI, and we are very thankful for them. This was happening through Web Summit. And then what we're trying to do, we're trying to help them to cut the cycle of trials and error to find the new materials from days to only a few hours. And this is all with the power, of course, of understanding data. Materials science is very important, and also AI in this case.
So what would be the implementation of the outcome of this innovation? For example, the Sweden example, what would be the end product? Maybe.
Yes. So for now, as a company, we're focusing on the polymer sector, which is the plastics. Okay, we know that this is very important, sector that actually where sometimes the cycle of innovation or research and development is too slow. Sorry. So this is where we would like actually to help them to accelerate. And for this company in Sweden in particular, so they have requests from their clients, but it takes them too long sometimes to get to the right product, okay, to the right composition. So we can help them actually to respond to their client needs faster and with less waste, and of course in less time. Yes.
So how are these breakthroughs and other research you're seeing at HBKU really try to solve real life problems?
Yes.
With this example and other examples, how do you feel like the material science field through innovation is really solving real life examples?
I have given you one of these examples in polymers, but many of my colleagues, so we have several of my colleagues, so some of them are trying to capture CO2 from the atmosphere. Some of them are looking into transforming some chemicals into added value products. Okay, so there are really real life applications actually that can be impacted through this research that has now translated into startups.
Amazing. And as you know, Qatar is positioning itself as a launchpad. You mentioned this, a test bed for a lot of innovations.
Yes.
So how do you see your innovative startup and others using Qatar and expanding beyond to new markets?
Yes. So we feel really lucky that we have been incubated in Qatar Science and Technology Park. This is the place to be. I cannot iterate that. Not only because we emerged from the Qatar Foundation ecosystem, but now is the time actually for tech companies to thrive. So in QSTP, they started actually to have streams about specific water AI and for fintech and for edtech and so on and so forth. So this system, I would say, is emerging, is organizing with we're seeing more involvement from VCs and so on, more involvement from the companies that are resident in QSTP, for example. So I want just to highlight something. So last month in October, we had the privilege to participate in a hackathon organized by Shell AI and QSTP. This was everything was online, but we had the chance, or the privilege to become the first runner-up. So we have been invited to India to present our innovative solution about sustainable aviation fuel. Okay, so it's all about using materials science and artificial intelligence to come up with aviation fuels that are better and in a much faster way, okay, to avoid these trials and errors. And we have been highlighted by the QSTP president and Shell and so on. So this is just to show how empowering this, and this is opening up opportunities for us. So people who believe in you, okay, it's a long journey, but it can make a very big impact.
That's amazing. And I think it's an ecosystem effort that you talk about constantly that makes this possible.
Yes.
What do you think your vision is looking forward 5-10 years ahead for your startup, but also for your role in HBKU? As what else would you want the ecosystem to see in the ecosystem for other startups that are starting after you?
Yes. Yeah. So what I would like to see for other startups is, a little bit more support, and also mentors who are specialized in deep tech, who understand what is the cycle, okay, for deep tech actually to deliver, because deep tech, will take longer. It will take it's much more expensive, of course. It will take more funding actually so having that understanding would help us actually to spin out more deep tech companies. In 5 to 10 years. I'll be honest with you, the main reason why I founded this startup is really to be able to empower the local students and alumni of our ecosystem. Okay, so I really wish to have maybe 99% of the staff that are that have studied in Qatar, that have that grew in Qatar, that we trained in Qatar. Okay, and then to have this impact on the next generations, to prepare the next generation of engineers and scientists, and also in other fields as well, that would be able to go and work in multinationals, in national companies, and so on, who are equipped, who are aware, who have these skills, and then so my dream is really to that we grow. I'm not really looking for financial growth as much as that I'm looking for human capital growth, okay, that and an institution that would be, or company that would be able to support this growth.
Doctora, does mentorship play an important role
Definitely.
in others that you support? Do you mentor others?
Definitely. I've been myself also mentored before, and I know how this can be impactful. So I do mentor graduate students, undergraduate students. Every year I have several mentees coming to spend some time with us, even from middle school and high school, for their immersive experience with us, and yes, so this is I enjoy it. And even as a professor, so there will be always students who are struggling. You see their potential, but they're struggling, so they need our mentorship and our support. So this is where we come into play.
Do you think there's more to do to empower students or to help with inclusion when it comes to youth in and around the Middle East?
Yes, I think that we are doing pretty well, and we need to continue and to keep investing into the youth. I just mentioned, all the STEM activities, and then the hubs and so on that are happening, that are really engaging our students from very early ages into science. So, for example, soon next week we are visiting the Gulf English School. So they have invited us to go and then give a show and demonstration to the students. For me, even though this is not business, I would say pure business, but this is extremely important, okay, for students actually to look on what would be their perspective, what would be their future aspiration, future jobs that they can take, and so on. That there are people who are succeeding here, inspiring them. Okay, so this kind of push, I would encourage other startups and other companies to really invest in that.
Amazing. So, Qatar, a big part of what we do in the ecosystem is to try and attract the best and brightest worldwide.
Yes.
So there are founders across the world that don't know much about Qatar.
Mm-hmm.
What would be your message to other founders looking for the right ecosystem that they can scale up?
Yeah, so I would say the local ecosystem is worth. So come visit us in Web Summit next year. Come see the ecosystem. Come visit QSCP and other, of course, incubation centers. So it's a nascent ecosystem, but it promises a lot.
So, Doctora, many years ago, what inspired you to come to Qatar? And what is it that kept you energized throughout this time?
Sure. So the main like attraction point was of course the research that was done there. Okay, so I'm a person who's passionate about research, and then I saw that there was a professor who who had a very interesting research project, who had access to high performance computing. Okay, which was at the time very necessary, and it was top notch. Okay, this was like at the time at Texas A&M University at Qatar. And then not only that, so that collaboration offered me to work with a top name in the area of quantum chemistry, okay, that it chanced that I couldn't actually rule out. So I really had to let go several other opportunities and came to Qatar. Okay. The other, of course, point is really being an Arab Muslim scientist. I mean, we have heard about like how welcoming Qatar is, how safe it is, how empowering it is, and then. I mean, I stayed for another 15 years because definitely, so I've moved to an institute where, I mean, I had the chance to work with very, very prominent scientists coming from all over the world. We had like generous research funding. We had the opportunity to collaborate also worldwide, access again to high performance computing and so on. So all the factors were in favor for me to thrive and then flourish. I mean, within the Qatar Foundation hat or like umbrella. So I'm really very, very glad of this experience.
That's an amazing journey. And what sort of advice would you give to someone just starting up to look forward to in establishing themselves in Qatar?
I would say Qatar is a very welcoming and like extraordinary place to be. So in terms of valuing talent and innovation and research and so on, and in addition to the lifestyle, I mean, for growing your small family and so on, so it is safe. You can, I mean, you can you're free actually to stick to your beliefs and so on and so. So there is a lot of freedom, okay, that you can benefit from, and at the same time you can thrive professionally as well.
You have enough talent in Qatar for your growth.
We will make it. Inshallah. We'll start. So this is why as a faculty, even I usually teach the freshmen, right? And we can already see who are those who will have like a future, okay, and then we'll have the drive actually to contribute to the ecosystem. We involve them pretty early even in HBKU. We have a student employment program, so we involve them really very early in research, okay, and then in such a way that they can even have publications and patents before they graduate. And we have cases, actually, and very good success stories.
That's
of
amazing.
Students. Yes.
That's amazing. I guess the diversity of HBKU draws in a lot of diversity.
Yeah, absolutely.
But do you also see this as postgraduate level or researcher level relocating to the region? Is this part of the...
Yes, this is a must, okay? Or sending, for example, our students abroad to study and then come back. And this is, I mean, I have now at least two students. One of them went to Canada. One of them went to Imperial College. So they went for graduate studies. I hope we can have them back, and and they will know that they will have their place to contribute in Qatar as well, or in this startup particularly.
Do you think in your field there's interest from experts globally looking at Qatar? Is there more attention now and focus on Qatar?
There has been always a lot of attention. So since decades, and I cannot highlight enough the role that QRDI Council has played actually in supporting basic science and applied science, through grants and so on. This is how we became known and how we have been able to build a research ecosystem in Qatar. So I would say now we're attracting even more attention with transforming the outcomes of research into real solutions that can solve problems not only locally but maybe worldwide as well, hopefully.
That's amazing.
And I think we're capable.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Dr. Fadwa, if you had a message to the policymakers, to the business sector, to also academia, in a way to accelerate the ecosystem growth and maturity, what would be your key message?
Okay, so my key message would be we need to work together. Okay, so each of these entities is doing a very good job and great job in enabling technologies, adopting technologies, or making new technologies. Okay, but what is really missing, if I was to ask, is really to come up with a catalyst actually to enable us to translate the research. That is done in universities. Okay, to have some test beds within industries. So if the industries would open up a little bit to us, with test beds where we can test our technologies, so we can demonstrate value and we can demonstrate impact. And this maybe, can be supported by policies from the government, okay? For example, we are seeing some push towards digitalization and so on. So this is a very big word, it's everywhere and so on, but are we really, implementing that in a way actually that is sustainable, So we need this real collaboration and this catalyst actually that would enable us to do that. Definitely, continuing to fund research and education, of course, in universities is crucial, because this is where innovation comes. We have an ecosystem that is able to innovate. It just needs support, okay? And we have demonstrated that as a community through patents, through copyrights, and so on and so forth. We need the vehicles to translate this research into products, right? And then to validate them into an environment, right? Like in industry or in a different ecosystem. So having this catalyst and this global vision, okay, to connect, things together, and then to just, have the right people doing the right thing. So maybe the researcher, okay, does not necessarily need to become an entrepreneur. I had to do it myself, okay, because there was no one to take the technology and commercialize it. I'm happy, okay, of this experience. But then, some other of researchers, they're not, it's not their thing. Going into the entrepreneurship word is not what they aim from. They're much more comfortable and much more productive doing research. So having a trusted ecosystem to translate their outcomes, and then all the policies in terms of sustainability, decarbonization, also incentives, right, to adopt local technologies would be extremely, extremely helpful.
So, Dictora, in your own words, what's the difference between deep tech and a normal tech company?
So a deep tech company is a company that is trying to commercialize outcomes and solutions that are scientifically rooted, so that are supported with patent discoveries and so on and so forth. And it usually actually takes a long time to validate and then to come up with impactful solutions.
So it's looking beyond a delivery app or a business solution. It's looking at a scientific discovery and innovating on top of that.
Yes. Yeah. So it could be a new solar cell materials, a new panel. It could be a software solution, but that is rooted actually in research, right? That where there is a lot of innovation and then research that has been done to come up with this innovative solutions.
Dictora, when you say it takes time, is that the commercialization, the application of that technology? Is that where, or it's the lack of funding to help convert it? What's that delay?
I would say it's both, of course. So we need the funding to be able to sustain, because usually we need to have experts, right, and people with very specific expertise to of course maintain the solution, and also to translate it in the real world. And this is like the most difficult part, right? How can we take a solution from the lab, from the prototype, into the field? And this is where, we can sometimes see a lot of failure because the scale is not the same, the conditions are not the same. Usually in the lab, the conditions are ideal, right? But then in the field, we have many, many other factors that influence the outcome that we will be getting. So we need to be open-minded as well to fail. Because if we fail, when we fail, we learn. And then we learn, we take it back to the lab, we enhance it, and then we take it back. So this is why it takes longer, okay? So there is and it needs cooperation and it needs commitment. So it will not work from the lab to the field from the first time. It's very, very, very rare, okay? It needs failure. We need to identify what did we miss, and in such a way we can correct it and then come back to the field and then try to see what are other challenges that we might be facing.
So with things like AI, is it helping cut corners in these areas, or is it still more about the people and technology is just a tool?
It's absolutely. So with AI, what I tell my students, I tell them, do not be within the bubble of AI, but ride the bubble, okay? Because the bubble will, it will end up maybe bursting one day. But what will happen is that AI should empower you and should not replace you, me, or any other person. And this is what we're trying also to advocate for, that is responsible AI. Be responsible when you're using AI, not only in terms of of course, some misuse or something, but use it only when you need it, because AI uses huge computing capabilities. For example, I might want to cut, carbon on, for one process, for example, but I use huge AI systems and so on, and this means that I'm polluting more. Okay, because these data centers, they need a lot of electricity, and you need to burn gas to get this electricity. So in our company, we really advocate for responsible AI. So we avoid using unnecessary large language models. We, for example, if you have to do a search, we would go instead for small language models. We would go for linear regression and so on. When I see that we just need linear regression, I will not use a neural network that will consume a lot of electricity. So we are advocates of responsible computing and responsible AI as well. So not only in the way we use it, but in the way we employ it as well. Okay, so we employ it just as needed.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fadwa, and thank you to the viewers. I hope you tune in to the next episode of Meet the Expert, presented by QRDI Council.